Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wild Card event. 30 monster trucks are set, ready to compete to see who will take home the Wild Card Championship. Prowler is the Renegades champion and got his way in by winning that checkered flag in the last event of the Renegade Series. Let's see who's going to take home the Wild Card Championship and go right into round number 1. First up, we have Bad Habit taking on the King Crunch. Two Chevrolets staged up there at the starting line as we get set to go green. Down the straight stretch now, both trucks look even up and over, and King Crunch goes in the pool, and Bad Habit will roll over on the big end, moving right into the next round. Up next is the Ice Cream Man, taking on Whiplash. As they wait for the green light, down the straight stretch, Ice Cream Man pulls on Whiplash up and over, and Ice Cream Man will take a drink in the pool, and Whiplash will move on to round number 2. That's a good race, both trucks upside down. Gunslinger now takes on the Predator Machine. Both of these trucks run in the Renegade Series as we get set to go green. Down the straight now, and Predator pulls a little bit, and up and over, and Predator rolls the truck over, but however will move into the next round. Gunslinger is on the trailer. Up next in round number 1 is the Carolina Crusher taking on Storm Damage. Both trucks are at the starting line waiting for green as we get set to head down the straight stretch. Crusher pulls on him a little bit up and over, and Carolina Crusher will take it on to the round number 2 and putting Storm Damage on the trailer now. Carolina Crusher winning in spectacular fashion. Hot Wheels will take on Jester as we get set to go green. Down the straight stretch now, Jester bobbles up a little bit, and Hot Wheels takes it to the wall, and Hot Wheels will move on to round number 2 with that brand new Ford. Virginia Giant taking on Max D as we get up to the starting line, waiting on green. As we head down the straight stretch now, Max D bobbles up, Virginia Giant pulls on him a little bit, and it looks like the Virginia Giant machine will move on to round number 2. Awesome race right there. Stone Crusher takes on Barefoot. It's a classic Dodge versus Ford matchup. Barefoot bobbles up a little bit, but pulls on him in the big end, and Barefoot outruns the Stone Crusher. Bad News will take on the Reptoid Machine as we head up to the starting line. Both trucks looking great here in this event tonight. Heading down the straight stretch now, Bad News bobbles up, and Reptoid takes a drink in the pool, and Reptoid will move on to round number 2. Some sick air by Reptoid. The brand new Nitro Machine comes out to take on the Equalizer here in the first round. As we get set to go green down the straight stretch, both trucks look even up and over, and Equalizer looks like he's got the win. Both trucks hit the pond right there, and Equalizer flipped over and outran the Nitro Machine. Sudden Impact now takes on Black Stallion. Two Fords at the starting line. Who do you got? Sudden Impact pulls a little bit. Black Stallion coming back on him, and Sudden Impact will take it to the wall and put Black Stallion on the trailer for the night. Moving on now, Gravedigger takes on Sobe. Sobe, a former Renegades checkered flag holder, as we get set to go green. Both trucks look pretty even up and over the cars, and Sobe and Gravedigger both are in the pond, and it looks like the Sobe Chevrolet moves on to round 2. Wild Thing takes on Prowler, the current Renegades checkered flag holder. Wild Thing pulls on him hard up and over. Sick air by Wild Thing. Unbelievable jump. That Wild Thing truck is fast, and he will be a force here tonight. Blacksmith takes on the Monster Mutant Energy Soda as we get set to go green. Here we go now down the straight stretch. Blacksmith pulls hard up and over the cars, and Blacksmith will move on to round number 2. Good race right there. Bigfoot versus Devastator. Ford versus Chevrolet as we go green. Ford now pulls on him in the big end and rolls the truck over, but Bigfoot will move on to round number 2. Takes a drink in the pool, however, will move on. Now, American Guardian takes on the Bulldozer in round number 1 as we get set to go green. Heading down now, American Guardian pulls on him, and American Guardian will move on to round number 2. Good race there by both trucks. As we get set to move on to round 2, first we got to go to the pits. Problems for Barefoot when he rolled the truck over. They dropped the front dry shaft. They're hoping to get that truck back together, ready for round 2. Moving on now, round number 2. Bad Habit takes on Whiplash. Both trucks look good in round number 1 as we go green up and over, and hard hit for Bad Habit. Bad Habit tanked that pond right there. Hopefully he's okay, but Whiplash will move on. Predator takes on Carolina Crusher. Headed up to the starting line now. These two rivals from the Renegade Series as we go green. Predator pulls on him a little bit up and over, and Predator rolls the truck over, but will move on to round number 3, putting Carolina Crusher on the trailer. Moving on with round number 2, Virginia Giant takes on Hot Wheels. Both brand new trucks making their debuts as we go green. Virginia Giant pulls on him, and Hot Wheels catches up with him in the big end, and Hot Wheels will put Virginia Giant on the trailer, and Hot Wheels moves on to round number 3. They got Barefoot back together. He draws up Reptoid in the second round as we go green. Reptoid pulls on him a little bit, and Barefoot moves on him in the big end. As Reptoid took a drink in the pond, Barefoot moves on to round number 3. Sudden Impact will take on the Equalizer. Two Fords looking good as we go green. Both trucks looking good down the straight stretch up and over, and both trucks roll over. Equalizer took a drink in the pond, and Sudden Impact moves on to round number 3. Wild Thing was bad fast in first round matchups. Sobe pulls up against him. As we head down the straight stretch, Wild Thing pulls hard, and Wild Thing goes up and over the pond, moving on to round number 3. Before we continue on round number 2, problems for the sudden impact team down there in the pits. They busted a valve in the right front shock, and they're hoping to get it back together so they can come up to the line in round number 3. Bigfoot now will take on Blacksmith. Both of these trucks look good in round number 1. Bigfoot versus Blacksmith as we go green. Bigfoot pulls on him, but Blacksmith passes him in the big end, taking it to the wall. Blacksmith will put that big blue Ford out of Pacific, Missouri on the trailer. Now we got to bring back a fast loser from round number 2 to take on the American Guardian to finish out this round 2 bracket, and it looks like the Virginia Giant will take on American Guardian. Watch at the top left hand of your screen. They go down the straight stretch and down to the finish line, and Virginia Giant will upset the American Guardian as he moves on to round 3. Now, Whiplash takes on Predator. Both trucks looking strong. Who will go to the semifinals as we go green? Both trucks looking pretty even down the straight stretch, up and over, and we're going to have to get an MTA official down here. But it looks like the Predator has outstrung the Whiplash machine, and yes indeed, Predator will move on. Barefoot will take on Hot Wheels. That brand new Hot Wheels Ford takes on the Barefoot Dodge going down, Barefoot up and over, and Hot Wheels takes it to the wall. That brand new Hot Wheels truck will move on to the semifinals. That was a good race right there. Now, round number 3 continues. Sudden Impact, they got it back together. Takes on that bad, fast Wild Thing as we get set to go green. Both trucks look pretty even. Sudden Impact pulls on the Wild Thing, gets bobbled up in the pond, and Wild Thing will move on to the semifinals. Sudden Impact was going for it, but didn't have it in the cards tonight. Virginia Giant now comes back as a fast loser, took out American Guardian, takes on Blacksmith now in the round number 3. Giant pulls on him, Blacksmith up and over, and now we got to get an MTA official on the track because this is a close race as Blacksmith takes a drink in the pond right there, and Blacksmith wins it, moves on to the semifinals. Predator takes on Hot Wheels in this semifinal matchup. Both trucks ran strong all night as we go green. Down the straight stretch now, Hot Wheels pulls on him a little bit. Predator rolls the truck over, takes it to the wall, and Predator will move on to the wild card finals. Good race right there. Now, as we finish out the semifinals, Wild Thing will take on the Blacksmith. Up at the start line, we go green. Blacksmith pulls, but Wild Thing comes back on him, and we might have to get an official down here, but it looks like Wild Thing, we're going to get an up-close shot, and it's going to be hard to tell, and Wild Thing indeed does have the win, and he will match up against Predator in the finals. Well, this is it. This is what we all come to see. Wild Thing versus Predator in the finals here at Wild Card as we get set to go green. Wild Thing pulls on him hard, but Predator playing catch up. Wild Thing up and over, takes it to the wall. And Wild Thing will be your winner. Congratulations to Jason Cook and the Wild Thing for winning Wild Card.
Standing tall up in victory lane, I done brought the pain and now they screaming my name. Yeah, everybody saw me rock the place. Now there's flashbulbs are popping and mics in my face. Always giving the crowd what they need. Now they're wearing my shirts front row to nosebleed. Now the crowd forms is what it's all about. Signing autographs until the lights out. Yeah, it's about that. It's about that.